Hello, everybody. I hope everybody is having a good evening. I'd like to share a message with the young people about the importance of getting to know your dad. Even if he was an absentee parent, it's still very important that you get to know him because you will learn things that you never thought possible. Speaking from my own personal experience, I'm someone who never knew my mom. She passed away when I was like 8 months old. I was raised by her sister, of course. And my dad, he was an absentee parent. He never came around. He met someone and he remarried and had more kids with that person. So we had sort of like an extended family. But anyway, what I'm getting at is this. My dad died of a heart attack when I was 11 years old. Now, keep in mind, this is somebody who never came around, someone I never like sat down and talked to, somebody I never really got to know. That is until he passed away. Uh, I had heard a lot of things about him from my aunt that raised me, and she was always telling me he was no good and he was a moon hanger. For those of you who don't know what that is, that means when you sell people dreams, uh, when you tell people, when you promise a woman marriage or you promise a woman a big house, a nice bank account, or just all these other great things, and you don't come through. That's what's called a moon hanger. Or as old people say, you just run around hanging moons. But anyway, I'd always heard a lot of awful things about him, and my older siblings, there was 14 of us. Yes, 14 of us. They would always talk about how my mom practically would beg my dad to marry her. They weren't married. Yeah, I had 14 kids and never got married. But it wasn't because she didn't try. She would actually beg him to marry her. We got all these kids, why don't we get married? But my dad was a rolling stone, he wanted to run around and do his own thing. So uh, he he met someone, as I said before, and someone whom he did marry. Oh, he married the other woman, and he had two kids with her. But he never married my mom, no matter how much she begged him. But anyway, I just heard awful things about him, like one after another from different members of the family. And when he died, like I said, I was 11 years old when he died. And we went to his funeral. And the first thing I noticed as we pulled into the church parking lot was the number of people and cars congregated around. And so I'm thinking, wow, he really got around. He knew a lot of people. That's just for the 11-year-old thinking, wow, my dad knew a lot of people. Uh, when we went into the church, we had to be guided up to what they call the mourning bench. That's where mourners were said, like family members, like the first pew in the church. But the church was packed to capacity. I mean, totally packed. And a majority of the people there were soldiers in uniform. Now, I knew my dad had served in the military for a number of years, but I didn't know to what extent that I didn't know what his rank was or anything like that. But anyway, as an 11-year-old, I noticed that, I was like, oh, okay. So he had a lot of friends in the military. And as we made it up to the front where the casket was, and it was a casket draped with the U.S. flag, and we sat there, and this funeral lasted almost 3 hours because of the different uh, military personnel and different soldiers getting up to give their own personal eulogies. And everybody was saying, how they knew him, how he liked to sing, and how he liked to whistle while he worked, and just a number of things about him. And people were, after they found out that we were his kids, they were hugging us and telling us how sorry they were, and we had lost a great person. And after the funeral, we headed out to the burial site, out to the cemetery, and that's where the treat was waiting at the cemetery. I mean, the soldiers were in formation with their guns, you know, at half at I don't know the right word for it. But anyway, they had their guns. They gave 21 gun salute, and I was just bursting with pride. I was surprised as heck, but I was bursting with pride because, as I said before, I knew he served in the military, but I didn't know exactly what his rank or position was in the military. And I can't tell you the pride that I felt for someone who I never personally got to know. And I felt a wave of sorrow because I didn't get to know him until he passed away. But that day will forever live on in my memory. It was one of the, I hate to say it was one of the best days, but I had never been so proud of anyone in my life as I was of my absentee father that day. And I just want to share that message with everybody. I know sometimes, I know being a single mother is hard, and sometimes uh, they tend to say things or put things out there about the dad, you know, and some things can be pretty bad. I myself have experienced that where a dad is being bad mouthed to their kids by the mother. I've experienced that myself. Uh, and I know, as they say, there's two sides to every story. But I know a lot of kids just look at the fact that he wasn't here. He wasn't in my life. He wasn't there for me. But there's always a reason for it. And that, just like there's a reason for everything, there's always a reason why. And I think it's sad when uh, single mothers drag the fathers in front of their kids and they just build up this whole negative uh, persona of the absentee parent. And that's so unfair because there's so much. Sorry about that. because there's so much that the children don't know because he's not there to tell his side of the story or to offer any type of emotional or financial support. So therefore, it's a negative view from them all the way around. And I just want to share this story with you all that it's very important to get to know the absentee parent, even if you don't know him, even if you haven't sat and talked with him personally, even if you haven't been there at all. It's still important to get to know him because you will learn things that you never would have thought of before. And you will learn something about that person, a whole new side of that person other than what you've heard all your life from your mother and your relatives. I mean, you will learn a whole different other side of that person. But anyway, that's all I got for now. Hope y'all have a good night. Peace out.